press yours. Call and press yours.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Everybody's excited.
Yeah.
City Council will come to order. Call the roll, please.
Norris.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
White.
Here.
Wellman.
Here.
Brown. Ely. Here. Godwin.
Here. Okay, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes. Everyone should have received a copy of the minutes. Any additions or corrections? If not, those will stand approved. Approval of the agenda. Nothing to add at this time.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wellman.
Yes.
Ely. Yes. Godwin.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to public hearings. Anyone wishing to address council, please step forward. Go right ahead.
Okay. I'm Barb Fletcher, and I'm here tonight because I want to propose something to you. A few months ago, I noticed a lot of excitement and enthusiasm in our city, which we haven't seen for a long time. And I had this idea to get the students involved. I wanted them to get excited about the new stadium and the new coach, and I wanted them to have that enthusiasm. And at the same time, I wanted them to feel like they were a part of it. I called this project the Greenie Project. And on Thursday, Aaron Schaefer gave me the go-ahead for it. On Friday, well, first, let me show you what has been done in the past. This is actually a picture of someone's driveway, sidewalk. Well, as a matter of fact, I think this one is Oliver's funeral home. And this is how they were done in the past. And we had an idea, Dick actually had the idea of putting white behind it so that it would show up better on driveways. So, and also, we're going to give customers a choice of 2 greenies. So, is that one back there? Okay. They can either have this greenie, or they can have this greenie on their sidewalk or driveway. On Friday, I gave my first sales pitch. I called Mayor Whitaker, and I told him that my vision was to see a greenie on every corner of Broadway so that anyone who comes to downtown Greenville will see our Green Wave Pride. That would be 16 greenies at $50 each. We will be starting with the football team. We're going to give them each an order form to go out and sell to family and friends, but we're not stopping there. When those greenies are finished, we're going to the rest of the teams, clubs, or anyone else who wants to participate. The money will be collected and divided 2 ways. The team, club, or participants will get 50% of what they bring in. The athletic boosters or the Greenville School Foundation will get the other 50%. The customers will have that choice. The customers will also have a choice of what style of greenie they want. This project is also going to be tax deductible. These greenies will be $50 and will be different from the ones that we've had in the past. Mostly because it will be 2 colors instead of the 1 color greenie. We're going to see how that plays out. I've got an order form here, if anyone is interested in it. And I guess I'll turn this part of it over to,
When it's my turn to speak, we have public
oh,
hearing.
okay.
Excuse me, Mark. President, take your
Go
question.
ahead, go ahead.
What's the dimensions?
Pardon?
The dimensions, is it gonna be like a 3 foot,
It's about 2 by 2.
It's about 2 foot.
about 2 foot? And and both of those greenies will have a white background?
Yes, if you want it.
Oh,
If you decide that you don't want the white
Either way,
on, we won't do it.
okay.
Mr. President, I have a question.
This is not something the city has to pay for either. It's just an advertising thing to get it out there and hopefully a lot of other people see it.
Would those be painted on then?
Yes,
Yes.
we spray paint.
Ron Kerr has volunteered his time to paint. He's already got the stencils. He already knows what kind of paint is the kind of paint to use on the cement. So we've got people with experience that's helping us along with this project.
If someone is interested in doing it, then who do they need to reach out to?
They can call me or they can call Dick Brown.
Okay.
On my order forms, I've got my phone number, and I'll give it here if you guys want me to give it here.
That's up to you if you want it out there.
Okay, it's 937-459-6006.
I have a question for you, if I may, Mr.
Do you want
President.
Dick?
Absolutely.
Dick, do you want yours out there or not?
6.
Okay, my question is, not everybody has a driveway, or they have a gravel driveway. I have a gravel parking spot.
Right. And I
Okay,
realize-
but I don't want to be left out necessarily. So, have you thought of an alternate of like having since you're doing a 2 by whatever it was, 2 foot?
It's by two, it's just.
Could you
by
do,
two.
could you do a flag that I can hang on my little flag thing?
Well, I just happen to have,
That's good, okay. Like mine, okay. Glad I asked,
yes. Is it in my folder, Dick?
The Larsons also mentioned that they would do, like the Klingons, for any businesses downtown that would want to put one in their window as well.
Oh, I might go for that.
It's an option.
That'd be good in my living room window,
There you go.
or on my door.
And
Yeah.
driveways or
Since you ask,
You can do the sidewalk, yeah.
Okay.
these are the flags that are going to be on our new arch at the stadium. We are talking to people now about having these made for people like you who would rather have a flag than have something painted on their driveway. The flags that are going to be at the stadium are nylon, and they are actually three layers because of, so you can't see through them. There's a middle layer because the one greenie has to be always facing right. Okay. And the boosters right now is working on getting a couple of quotes to have these. These are a little more expensive, but if you want those, I'm sure that you can get those.
Okay, and the mayor mentioned a cling to
Do
go
you want me
on.
to pass that around? Here.
Well, it doesn't do you much good to pass it around because if you don't have a price for me, I'm not,
Oh, so,
yeah, yep, we can still see it.
good. The question.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yep,
she gets raped. Barbara, it's wonderful for the advertisement publicity wherever we get this going. But also, the biggest thing here is you need our permission for the downtown sidewalks. Put them on the corners.
Well,
Is that what you're asking or not?
yes, I guess that's, I was going to let the mayor talk to you about that.
Well,
Um,
I think it's a great idea. That's, yes, yeah, that's a great idea to do it. I'd love to see it done
yeah,
and we would,
and the
hope
thing,
council go along with
the
it.
thing that made me do this was the kids.
Sure.
The students. I just want the students to be excited again, to be proud of their state and proud of their, proud of Greenville.
Be great. Okay, thank you.
What is the expectation of the paint? How long would it hold up?
What do you mean?
How long would the paint last in the sidewalk?
Well, this one here, I don't know, when was that one?
That was done last year.
This one was done last
It's at the
year.
funeral home out, period. So it gets some
And-
traffic over the tunnel that's on the driveway. But we don't know exactly how long
You know,
they last. Some of
there's
them-
no
we've
way
seen
that
some
you
of
can
them
really
now.
say how long it's gonna last because, like, for example, this one probably had people driving on and off of it all the time. You know, not just one car driving in and out, but multiple cars driving in and out. So I don't know that you can really say how long it's gonna last.
Yes. Barbara, you had mentioned these would be tax deductible for the residents?
That's why we are running it through the Greenville School Foundation and the boosters, because they are both tax deductible.
Okay. Okay, thank
All
you.
right, any other questions? Well, thank you for coming up. We do appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to address council?
Where is he?
Good evening, my name is George Marshall, and I think I've seen you before. I'm here tonight both as a representative of the community on GTS and also just as a citizen. And I'd like to point out to this board what we were able to accomplish in the way of funds this year. And I'd like to thank Katie Benji for the work that she did. She didn't just accept getting refunded for the same amount as last year. She wrote 5 proposals, took a chance, and got funded on every one of them. And I thought that was really very creative, and I wish we could see this throughout the city. Because what's going to be facing us, I think, in the future, especially if they do away with property taxes, school boards and city councils will be looking for money. So, but anyway, I would like to thank her very much for all the residents of Greenville. It's a very important service in this community, I think, as you all know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I had someone come to my house this week and they want to know, and I don't know if I want to tell you where the property is, but there was a piece of property that was passed that it was supposed to provide jobs. Then suddenly it became not that kind of a property. And the person is very upset about this. How does it go from, I don't know, is it retail to manufacturing, or I don't understand that whole bit, but he wants to know, because he's supposed to be watching tonight. So he wants to know, was an ordinance passed that allows a person to say, I'm going to offer jobs, then suddenly that gets tossed to the wayside, and then something else comes up with it. How does that work? If somebody can explain that, so if he's watching tonight, you can tell him how this is done. So I said, I'll bring it to council, because he says, you go to council, don't you? And I go, yeah, I do. He goes, I got a problem. And I was like, okay. And so I listened, and I'm bringing it to you guys. So do you have to pass an ordinance to change it from manufacturing to retail? Or I guess those are the words you use. I don't know. Or can a person just decide who owns the property? Can they decide, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this now. So you get what I'm saying?
Yes and no?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, you want me to, this is where it's going to get sticky, because it's the old Marsh building, and I know who owns it, and I know what it was supposed to be before, Troy Sunshade. And then that didn't happen, and that was supposed to provide jobs, and now it's a place where you take and you put your stuff in a storage unit or whatever. So that's why there's no jobs there, because it's for people to rent. So,
And
I don't know what to tell him.
I can answer
Oh, good.
very,
Please.
very easily. So a portion of it is storage, but the other portion is still Troy Sunshade. They're still working through building department regulations to get approval. So there were a lot of things with the fire alarm system and ingress, egress that they've been working through to be
Okay.
able to actually move Troy Sunshade from its current location to that location.
And then there might be more jobs available.
So it will be, I mean, there's already jobs at Troy Sunshade.
Right, which
Their
would,
plan is still to move, but they're just not allowed to move yet until they
okay.
get through building regulations.
Okay. So there you go, sir, if you're listening tonight.
Property, that property is approved for light manufacturing.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
So I'm Katie McCabe, the director of Greenville Transit, and I'm here with Kirby Dirth from ODOT tonight to share the results of the transit development study that was completed. So there's a PowerPoint presentation.
Ready?
Yeah,
I'll get it up there.
I can't see, so.
There you go.
So we're here to share the transit development plan, which is a roadmap for the next 5 years of public transportation in the city. This plan helps transit meet the community needs now and to look at possible needs in the future. So tonight's overview includes what the plan is, how it was developed, what we heard from the community, what alternatives were considered, and the phase recommendations and costs. So we'll start with a quick overview of what the existing services are and what a TDP is, like what it does and what it doesn't do. Our agency currently runs a demand response system within the city. For those who are not familiar, demand response services can be arranged in advance or requested with minimal notice. We transport passengers from their pickup location to their drop-off location from curb to curb. Hours vary by day, and the general fare is $4 each way, with discounts for youth and seniors. These services are a lifeline for many residents without other transportation options. A TDP is a short-range, 5-year strategic plan. It assesses who uses transit, how it's performing, and what changes are needed. It's also required for funding eligibility and helps guide investment. It's important to note that this is not a budget or legal document. It simply sets direction and helps prioritize improvements, but implementation still depends on funding and partnerships. Strucken. So this project ended, the plan was finalized at the end of June, and so there was analysis, outreach, documentation, and all that has been completed. So we're now sharing recommendations. So Banesh engaged in an advisory committee with city staff, elected officials, and agency partners. Their input helped shape the vision, identify service gaps, and vet ideas. Public outreach was a central component of this TDP. We formed an advisory committee early in the process with representatives from local government, social services, economic development, and healthcare. This group helped shape the plan's vision and goals, kept us grounded in real community needs, and ensured we were asking the right questions throughout. We held 3 formal committee meetings and shared the final draft findings for input. Members represented both city and county interests as well as regional planning partners. Their direct feedback influenced our final recommendations. Beyond the committee, we held one-on-one interviews with organizations who work closely with transit riders, like groups like Job and Family Services, Wayne Healthcare, and the Chamber. These interviews gave us a more in-depth understanding of day-to-day transportation needs, including challenges not always visible in data or surveys. Several themes stood out across the interview. This is an essential service. Transit is not a convenience, it's a necessity for those without other options, particularly older adults and those with disabilities. Challenges in service delivery. We heard about limited hour, occasional wait times, and difficulty scheduling trips. Financial sustainability. Concerns about how to maintain and expand service with limited local funding. Public perception. Some residents aren't aware the service exists or how to use it. Accessibility. Improving rider experience such as vehicle scheduling and customer support came up frequently. These themes directly shaped the alternatives that we evaluated. To broaden public input, we launched a survey in March of 2025. The sample size of 55 respondents captured a good cross-section of current users. We distributed the survey through the city and county network, social media, and partner organizations. Key insights from the survey reinforce what we heard in the interviews. Most riders do not have access to a car. They rely on transit for critical needs like medical appointments. If the service disappeared, most respondents said they simply wouldn't be able to travel. Only one respondent said they drive themselves. 83% called the service extremely important, and most said they'd recommend it to others. When asked what to improve, respondents prioritized scheduling, on-time performance, and hours of service. This became high-impact focus areas in our recommendations. However, some of the issues, particularly long wait times, may self-resolve with the elimination of countywide trips. We developed a framework to evaluate possible improvements in a structured, objective way. Each alternative was scored using multiple criteria, such as community support, cost, complexity, and how much it would improve capacity, accessibility, and user experience. We weighted each factor based on importance. Cost and complexity had the highest weights to keep final recommendations realistic. This helped us move from a long wish list to a focused set of practical, high-impact actions. Here's how each alternative scored. The highest ranked options were transit marketing and education, which is a low cost and easy to implement and helps with awareness. More peak vehicles. This directly improves reliability and capacity. Better scheduling software. This boosts efficiency for both riders and dispatchers. Other ideas like countywide service and fixed route pilots have value but are more complex and more resource intensive. So we've categorized those as longer-term considerations that are not currently viable but may become desirable in the future. To make implementation manageable, we phased the plan into 3 stages. In the next 2 years, we will focus on stability, replacing vehicles and maintaining service. Between 2026 and 2029, we will add vehicles, extend hours, improve technology, and roll out a public information campaign. Beyond 2029, we look forward to a system expansion, testing new vehicles and regional connections if it becomes a realistic opportunity. We start with the basics, keeping current service levels and ensuring the fleet is safe and reliable. Vehicle replacement is key. Older vehicles are more costly and less reliable, especially for riders who depend on the service for medical and daily needs. This phase This phase includes the improvements most requested by users: more vehicles to reduce wait times, extended service hours for evenings or on weekend needs, upgrading scheduling software to make booking easier and reduce no-shows or delays, and a public information campaign to help more people understand what transit offers and how to use it. Looking past the 5-year plan, we outline ideas for regional or pilot services such as reinstating countywide demand response, reaching rural residents, testing an inner-city deviated fixed route to connect with neighboring towns, and exploring a city circular that could support economic development or workforce mobility. These ideas will require more planning and partnership, but are more important to document and mention in the TDP. This slide summarizes everything, when each recommendation starts and how they'll fall together, grouped by the state fiscal years. This table visualizes the preceding slides. Phase 1 items, really just vehicle replacement, should already be scoped into current and future budgets. Phase 2 items ramp over the next 2 to 4 years. Beyond phase items are included to establish flexibility if new funding or partnerships emerge. Funding is critical. Most rural transit systems depend on a mix of federal, state, and local dollars. Without local match funding, we cannot draw down available grants, even if we're eligible. That's why long-term planning is so important. Most of our funding comes through the FTA Section 5311 program, which supports transit in their communities under 50,000 people. It funds operations, capital projects, and paratransit. This requires a 50% match for all operations and a 20% match for capital and capitalized maintenance. This is how we stretch local dollars, matching $1 with $1 in federal support, but to do that, local funding commitment is essential. This shows projected annual operating and maintenance costs through fiscal year 2029 to 2030. You'll see costs grow slightly with proposed system changes, but remain modest overall. Green bars represent the status quo expenses, which rise year after year due to inflation. Blue and yellow represents additional costs associated with the recommended changes. We also show revenue potential. This includes expected funds, represented by the yellow shading, which are simply a projection of current revenues along with possible increases if new funding or grant opportunities are pursued, represented by the gray shading. The gray potential funds would need to be secured to finance recommendations. Capital needs mostly focus on vehicle replacements. These are significant investments, but necessary to keep service reliable. We anticipate phasing these over the next 5 years to reduce the upfront burden. We label the capital revenue as assumed because we assume 80% the 80% grant funded match and 20% local funds will be procured to cover the cost of replacements. So what local needs or service gaps might this help fill that is currently not being provided in Greenville today? So that's pretty much what I have. If anyone has any questions, Kirby has some stuff that he'd like to share as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Mayor and members of council. Thank you so much for having me here this evening on behalf of ODOT. I'm a transit grant coordinator within the Office of Transit in the Ohio Department of Transportation. My primary functions are to manage our grant program that provides these transit development plans, as well as marketing and website assistance for some of our rural agencies throughout the state. I also coordinate our 5311F services, that's intercity bus. Think Greyhound. Many years ago, some of the major players within that realm took a step back from stopping in localities, so the state operates with the federal government as well as HAPCAP, a orchestrated network of intercity bus lines. So those are my primary focuses. I had the pleasure of working with Katie and team on the TDP alongside Benisech. They did a wonderful job. This is one of the more detailed reports that we got out of this process. Very happy with the level of engagement. The survey numbers, I think, are we could do more with in the future. However, I think it is still a good representation of the needs of the program. Benisech did a lot of economic forecasting modeling behind the scenes as well, using apps that track anonymized cell phone data to see where people are going, what times of day, how is local transit infrastructure being used, what are the most common routes to specific areas, while evaluating what the needs were of the community. So between that empirical evidence as well as the stakeholder engagement is where a lot of these recommendations came from. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the project or the program itself, its purpose, or how we got to this point today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out.
I have a question, I'm sorry, I'm getting to my place, sorry. When you're talking about replacement of vehicles, what type of schedule do you think, do you anticipate? Because don't you have some newer vehicles right now in your
So from
in your garage or whatever?
Absolutely. So from the state's perspective, we have a dictated cadence. It results in a number of years past the date in which it was procured, or a number of miles. I believe that mileage off the top of my head is 150,000. It varies based off of vehicle though and vehicle type. So we actually do not allow vehicles to be disposed until they've hit that best practice that's set by the federal government. So from our perspective, that's what the cadence looks like. I don't know if you wanted to talk about your local.
You say 150, what did you say?
I can send you the
150,000.
rubric that we have. I believe it's 150,000, but it varies on vehicle. There's 3 or 4 different, public transit vehicle types, and each have different disposition requirements associated with them.
Okay.
So we did get 2 new to us, not brand new buses from Bell Fountain. And then we do have 1 brand new bus that we got from Fayette County. So if that answers your question. But we also have 1 bus listed on GovDeals right now that ODOT approved disposition of. And then we have another one that's in the process of getting ODOT approval for disposition. So we currently have 11 vehicles that are in service in our fleet.
Okay.
Katie, just,
Go right ahead.
you said 11 vehicles in service, and you brought 3, you said, what, 3 new ones, or 2 used and 1 new one in?
That's included in the 11.
Right, but those have just come in like this year?
Yes.
How did we fund those?
So the 2 new to us buses were given to us. Basically, ODOT mandated that Bell Fountain give us the buses because they were no longer using them.
Free.
Correct. And then the brand new bus is also at no cost to the city. There was another agency that ordered it, and they ordered it with federal money, and they could no longer use it. And so I bugged ODOT long enough about getting new buses, and so they actually, Chuck Dyer, who is, I don't know what his title is.
My boss.
Yeah. So he actually called me personally and asked if we would want the bus. And so obviously I said yes. So we just went and picked it up.
So I went through the study kind of fast, but of the other 8 buses that we have, how many of those are currently near a replacement phase?
So 1 for sure, and that's the one that's going through the disposition phase now. The others, I would have to look to get you a for sure answer.
And the study of increasing, we talked about increasing vehicles, increasing hours, increasing drivers countywide, would take us to how many vehicles in that study?
So,
From 11 to,
well, that's to be determined. So, you want to answer that?
Yeah, so it would be entirely dependent on the level of service that you'd like to provide outside of the city and how much support you would get outside of the city. In other counties that I have worked with, in regard to going county-wide. It depends on the level of commitment from the county commissioners as well as the local villages and any employment centers as well. So think industrial parks, so on and so forth. Realistically, the service would look more like an on-demand response rather than a fixed route or something along those lines. So realistically, you can have as little or as many as you'd like. The variable that changes is the response time. So if you're okay with having a relatively large response time, maybe there's a 24-hour requirement for signing up for a ride at a specific time, you can kind of control those floodgates, if you will.
I have a question about seniors and developmentally disabled. Is it my understanding that currently Greenville Transit does not service active day on Jaceville St. John's?
That's correct.
Okay, so, and then because you don't service that building, that also causes a problem for our seniors who use that building for Dark County Senior Outreach. Is there some consideration, and I know this will fall over to the city, but about changing that particular, those are two unique groups that are part of all these numbers that you have in your report. The developmentally disabled need to get to jobs. Senior citizens want to go to activities that are being offered at their senior center, their senior room, I should say, and they're not able to do that. Is there, where do they fall? Where do they fall in this report?
I can answer it a little bit. So that particular facility is outside the city limits, and when we went to no more county trips, it was outside the city limits, so we didn't service it any longer. And we had discussion with them about potentially annexing or doing a private contract to allow that to happen. And my concern is if you start with one, so like, okay, we're just going to service this one, then next thing you know, then they were like, well, the ice center's half a mile out of town, will you service that one? And this is a quarter of a mile out of town, when you service that, where do we stop it? And
I think, I understand where you're coming from, but by definition, those two groups are, they're an integral part of our community, our city. I'm just, I'm just
absolutely.
throwing that out there.
Absolutely. And we do rides for both. What is the demand response for the Dark DD that we use through GT Independence?
So there are some individuals that receive self-paid transportation through the state Medicaid. And so they are issued basically a credit card from the state. And so they can use their card to pay for their own transportation. It's self-directed transportation. They can use their money to go anywhere that we service.
Okay.
Mr. President. I have a question. Back in the past, it seemed like we were replacing maybe one bus, maybe two each year. And I know costs and et cetera has entered into all that. Is that just by the wayside now, or are we still trying to do that?
So it's not by the wayside. And the vehicles that we have, they were purchased like one or two every year so that they don't all have to be disposed of at the same time, which drastically reduces the cost. So we were awarded 2 grants from the state that Mr. Marshall touched on to get 2 new vehicles for state fiscal year 26. If you're not familiar with that, started on July 1st. So it depends on the local funding if we get them or not.
Okay, thanks. Since I'm not an original Greenvilleite, and I'm a transplant here, what was the original purpose of Greenville Transit? What was the focus of Greenville Transit when Greenville Transit was in the past? And what does that compare to what we're looking to do in the future?
I mean, as far as speaking about the future, I think I just spent the last several minutes talking about that.
No, I understand, but Are we looking to be a personal on-demand service going forward in all aspects? And is that what Greenville Transit was originally set up to be? That's my question.
I can answer Greenville Transit to my knowledge, and Greenville Transit goes back a long time ago, probably 30 years or more.
That's amazing.
And
Congratulations.
it was originally set up as an on-demand response entity. I think from the research and, the people in this room that work out there, most people want on-demand response. They don't want to schedule 24 hours in advance. As this study has shown, we are planning to look at is a fixed route around the city. A good idea would work for us. I'm just going to use an example. You start at Walmart, you go to Kroger, or you stop at CVS, and you just keep doing the loop. That's something that we've talked about and we're going to look into at our kind of 5-year plan mark as far as this goes. The problem with that is, as Dolores mentioned, most of our riders aren't able to walk from a certain place to get home, so then you have to get them home. So a lot of those routes run where if they're only a block or two away from the route, they're required to walk. And so we have to come up with a plan that we can deviate from our fixed route to drop them off at their residence.
Thought down the road that, not sure it was in your plan, a connection between other counties?
Yeah, intercity deviated fixed route is how it's labeled.
Okay.
It's interconnecting other cities within the county to Greenville. The fixed portion of that route is that it would run like a circulator. The deviation point is that it can go up to a mile off of its designated path to pick somebody up at their front door rather than at a bus stop down the way.
So, yeah, so what I was getting at is the connection between other places so that people can go to their hospital or doctor that's out of town.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that also a key component of it is economic development as well. The workforce, getting people to and from, your core in the city here to where they live throughout the county and back. And you can play with those fixed routes and have stops at your, on my way in, I passed your industrial complex. There's definitely some big businesses there that would likely love some connectivity to local residents who maybe are in the workforce but don't have a reliable vehicle. Absolutely, you can connect to various different hospitals, other modes of transportation as well. So if you have another public transit agency that's bordering you, there could be potentially a transfer point in which somebody could take public transit into another county, to your point.
So we currently have an agreement with Miami County. It doesn't get utilized very often, but it does get utilized. But that's the only agreement that we have right now. Preble County is interested, but there's not a whole lot of need to go back and forth between Dark and Preble County. I think the main focus would be like Montgomery County, and we already have one with Miami County, but Montgomery County would be the big one. So we actually have a mobility manager that's over the region, and so that's something that her and I can work together to work towards.
And it'd be really tough to go out of state, right, to go to Richmond. That's a big problem.
And I'm speaking as one who got all the calls when the buses were late, when the county was on. I always think having the county and city work together is a wonderful thing. But in this particular situation, it was a disaster. It was originally funded for the city, and it turned out that a lot of the buses were required to go out in the county, and by the time they got back, people were waiting, and I'm sure a few of you got calls. Whatever we do, if we do this again, it should be well thought out, well-funded, and you can't go on the number of vehicles we have now, because if you bring in the county and you divide all those vehicles, you're gonna be stuck with a situation where people are there 2 or 3 hours, and they're not very happy about it. So I just threw that in, so you would consider that in the future.
Is there another city, county example where a city is running county transportation, like Greenville to Dark County? Is there another place where it exists effectively, the best of class?
The one that I know of is not up and running yet, and it's Marion. Marion's interested in doing that. They're exploring that currently. In terms of who's up and running and doing that on behalf of the county as a city, I would have to get back to you on that.
I can answer there are some, because I've checked into this. I know Ashland is one,
I was looking for good ones.
city of Ashland.
I was looking for a benchmark to work towards or to model.
That's fair.
Something to,
But that's where I was headed. Because at the end of the day, and I was going back to your executive summary, 92% of the citizens in Greenville transport by car. So this entire activity is focused on 8% of the population. And I'm not poo-pooing 8% of the population, but it is less than 10% of the population for the entire, using basically the Greenville transit system, correct?
Absolutely.
And if the 44,000 trips in 2023, it would be interesting to see the distribution of people that used it. Maybe there's some that used it twice a day, every day. There's some that use it once a week, twice a week, once a month. It would be interesting to see that distribution because the city has to pay for it. Now, any way you cut it, you had a slide up there that showed costs going from $1 million to $1.6 million. I realize there's grants that bring money back, but the city still has to make up a portion of that 1.6 million. And it gets, the more buses you have, the more drivers you have, the more routes you have, the more hours you have, the more expense you add. And basically, the city recovers 80 cents on the dollar. More or less. And still has to pay 20 cents of every dollar spent, the way I see it. Is that fair?
So in terms of operations, you guys received, I believe it was $715,000, $357,000 of which was from the federal government, and then $272,000 was from the state with a local match of $85,000. So I hear what you're saying in that your portion of the costs would go up, absolutely.
Right.
I think that this $272,000 from the state is actually rather rare in comparison to other communities throughout the state. And I think that this provides an opportunity for you guys to kind of chart your own destiny in terms of where you would like spending to go. To your point earlier about whether it's a fixed route, a city circulator, or an on-demand response style of service.
Okay.
In some of your, looking at some of your plan, do you see areas where we could have new contracts to generate more stable income?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that's what some of the focus groups were for in having those conversations from an economic development standpoint, getting Katie kind of paired up with the local Chamber of Commerce and other nonprofit and public service agencies. From my read of the document and my experience working through it, there's not one that jumps out at me currently, but I'm by no means the local expert of what agencies and what the need is within your community.
I think there's been talks, to businesses who are in the industrial park, to the downtown businesses in the past, and it really hasn't gone anywhere. So that would be part of the public information campaign that we do, is basically getting more information out there, making new relationships, and gaining more private contracts and partners.
In your plan where it shows a graph on expenses future going up, that there was, after like, what, 26, 27, there was non-service expenses. What would those be? I mean, because it doesn't show on the graph that they're there now, but they do show it like 2, 3 years down the road. So the yellow part to this top of this graphs, that bar graph going up. And the yellow portion that said non-service expenses.
This one,
These are the pieces here.
yeah.
Those are,
Slide number 28, I think, is it where it is?
my interpretation of that, of those are costs associated with administration. So expanding the number of individuals you have working for GTS, there could be some facility charges in there as well. I think that's a general estimate of the size of the managerial organization growing with the size of the service.
I obviously look at this differently than a lot of other people. But if I look at the budget for Greenville Transit for 2025, the revenue budgeted, including the grants, is $960,000, of which includes $70,000 that the city contributes to Greenville Transit at the beginning of the year, correct? So $960,000 of revenue is the budget. But the expense budget is $1,200,000. $1,200,000 something. So there's basically about $300,000 that the city, according to the budget and the numbers, that the city is contributing to run Greenville Transit.
Well, it's carryover from transit from years prior. It's the savings, essentially. But you are correct. Transit is a tough, expensive animal.
But if we do more buses, more routes, more drivers, more hours, that number gets bigger and that city contribution number gets bigger. And I'm not challenging it, but it's representing that spread over 8% of the population. Is there a better potential solution than having buses running around town 24/7? And I say that tongue-in-cheek just a little bit.
Yeah. It's been a conversation we've had multiple times.
We have.
Is there a right answer? Probably
What's the
not.
best answer?
I guess I always go back to, for an example, Dolores talked about dark DD or the elderly population. Like, what does that do to them if we as citizens of the community say, sorry, you're going to stay home all day and you're not going to go to the grocery, or you're not going to go out and enjoy football games, or you're not going to go out and enjoy time. I'm just saying there's this much broader spectrum of what you're looking at than just dollars and cents. And I get the dollars and cents side, but there's dollars and cents involved in everything we do. It's what's that balance? Right, and right now, our balance, we have been able to take the $70,000 from the city, and we've been able to make it work year after year after year with not increase that transfer from city general fund to transit. And some years, Katie will test, it gets tough, and we're digging deep and trying to figure out how we're going to do it. And with contracts, and you can get into advertising on the side of buses, and every little bit helps.
So rather than continuing to ask questions, what is the planned next steps?
Or what's expected of this council?
And
You.
Sure, that's a great question. First, the 90% statistic point, I just wanted to be clear that that is from the American Community Survey, and it is mostly related to vehicles per household. So it's at least one vehicle per household, so it's not necessarily the entirety of the population, but the dwelling units associated with it. There's give or plus a few percent here or there, but I wanted to make sure that we covered that. From the state's perspective and what the reason that we do these transit development plans is not for you to adopt it specifically as your guiding light on moving forward. It is to, one, strengthen the communication between GTS, any of the other agencies that we fund transit development plans for, and the community, but also council. So obviously getting Katie to bring this information to you also, that we're all on the same page in terms of the level of service that's being provided. From our perspective, this is really your plan. This is your playbook to run with or to not. This is an opportunity to benchmark what different levels of service, efficiency, and effectiveness look like in your future 5 years. If your perspective is to maintain current levels of service and do things as you do now, with some of the low-hanging fruit that we identified within the plan that'll help with some efficiency, then that's totally fine. That's your prerogative to do so, right? And there's a path forward outlined within the document for that. If it is to increase the number of public sector riders, there are some options in here in terms of expansion, hours, number of buses. So to bring it back to Councilmember White's question on what was GTS founded on and what are those perspectives? That's this body's and the city's choice to make moving forward. The purpose of the program is to provide you the tools to do so using national best practices. So we are not looking for any formal adoption today, at least from the state's perspective. I don't know about the cities or the transit agencies.
Thank you.
I'll restate my closing question. What's the next steps? Where to from here?
So right now, the purchase of new software to improve efficiency in our software. For right now, we believe that the current software we're utilizing doesn't give us optimum efficiency as far as where someone is and where a bus is. For an example, there'll be a bus at Walmart and somebody will want picked up at Kroger, and sometimes the software will send somebody from IGA to pick that person up at Kroger. So we're trying to fix that so that those buses can run more efficiently. And that is with this new software.
And that's already planned and in the works.
Planned in the works, it's approved through ODOT.
Budgeted,
funded.
Planned,
Yep.
scheduled, that's in it. Next steps.
And then step after that is to purchase 2 new vehicles, which we've been approved through ODOT, and those will get put into our 2026 budget.
Now I have a lesser specific question.
Okay.
What are the buses that we park down at the sheriff's station off of 36?
That's the person who does our maintenance and works on our buses. Okay. So if they're there, they're broken down or getting an oil change or tires or air conditioner fixed or whatever is needed. That's the county's maintenance shop, and then we contract with them.
Seems like there's usually about 3 buses sitting there.
Yeah, especially recently.
Is 3 of the 11 or 3 of 11 plus 3?
3 of the 11.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Now, one thing, Katie, could you introduce your team members that are here?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
So there are several members of my staff here tonight. So first we have Lexi Watern. She's a part-time dispatcher for us. For those of you who don't know, the operations manager, this is Tiffany Webb. Next to her is Zach Boffman, who's a driver for us. And next to him is Chuck Gasper. He's also a driver for us. You may recognize him if you've been with the city for some time. And then next to him is Ed Bruner. He's also a part-time driver for us.
Katie, how many dispatchers working? You said she was part-time. How many do you have?
We have 1 full-time dispatcher and 2 part-time dispatchers.
And that pretty much covers all your hours that you need?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address council? If not, we're going to move on to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Want to pick up where Barb left off, the program that she came up with. I got very excited about it immediately because it meant an effort to increase the level of excitement and community pride and community spirit regarding our sports programs. That was something that many of us here in this community had conversations with former state representative Jim Beakey. He had a lot of concerns about that and a way to step things up. And this was something that obviously has been a part of our past here in Greenville. And I thought it was worth looking at and going at it again and giving permission to the Greenville sports boosters is something I think we should do. And Barb's gonna be heading it up, no city money. The kids are gonna work with her and obviously other people in the community. I already had one of our banks today, when I was mentioning the program today at a meeting, they volunteered to buy one. So I mean, I don't see $50 is what they're going for. And I don't think that's gonna stop a whole lot of people from getting involved and sharing in the community spirit. So with the timing of it is perfect with the new stadium, with the new football coach who's had a level of success in other schools in the area coming to Greenville, and I know he's very excited, and the kids are very excited to be playing for him. So we're looking for a step up in the neighborhood and in the community, and I think this is a good program, and I fully recommend it. The other thing I wanted to talk about, we have a new member of our Planning and Zoning Commission, a gentleman by the name of Jeff Knoll, who's the, right now, until he retires in the fall, is the project administrator at Treaty Manor. He had also been a long time with Coca-Cola. So he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot to offer the community, and he's going to be replacing our friend Doug Wright. So with that, I pass.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
on the painted greenies, would those be able to be put on a sidewalk in front of your house?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The green,
Yeah, that's part of the program.
okay, well, you know, rather than having,
Sidewalk, driveway, you can.
rather than having it up on my steps where it can't be seen,
Right.
down on the sidewalk in front of my house would be better.
I don't know, in town, you would probably have the answer to that. If he's wanting to paint it on the sidewalk, would he be allowed to do that?
That was the question.
If everyone in this room is okay with it, then I'm okay with it. I mean, it's public right away, you know, and I think you just have to be careful because if one group wants to do it, then you have to consider if another group wants to put something else. That's where I always get scared. But
Well, the reason I ask is my house sets up on a hill and it wouldn't be seen on my front sidewalk.
You need a flag, Leon.
That's why the other option is she's
Are
offering
you
it.
saying the sidewalk is right in front of your step? Is that where you want it?
It could be anywhere along my frontage.
Your whole house?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live right by an alley, so, you know, it would be, you know, probably closer to the alley than right in front of my house.
Well, it sounds like you're a customer, we certainly want to accommodate you. Good customer service.
I need a flag.
Yeah,
Good customer service.
that might be better.
Right.
Okay, moving on, Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to be brief for the night. The only thing I request is a Utilities Committee assignment. This would be our annual assignment to review rates and meters and lead lines and all the things. I do ask, so on August 14th, I have a meeting with a consultant that the EPA has hired to assist cities with lead line management and the plan to move forward with lead line replacement. So I would like to get that meeting out of the way, and then unfortunately, I'm on vacation from the 15th to the 25th. So.
Taking a vacation meeting on the 16th.
Are you? But I'm thinking if it's okay with the Utilities Committee, if maybe the second meeting in September, and just in case it takes us a couple meetings to get through it. But I wanted to get it out there now because we have about a week between me back and the next council meeting on the 2nd that we could meet if it works out.
That work, Mr. Godwin?
That's September the 16th.
Yeah. Would be when the report, or the committee report would be due.
Yeah.
That work? Second meeting in September.
With that, I will answer any questions, but I will pass.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Law Director, Mr. Reeman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. One of the issues Mr. Delk had talked about before was kind of fixing, I don't know if you want to call it an oversight, but fixing the issue with the street that runs through Treaty Manor. I did draft an agreement for them. We're hoping that they get board approval next week that will dedicate that right away to the city to just clean up that area. It'll make it clear that we've got utility easements and everything through there before we go and replace the water line that's in that area. So hopefully they approve it, and then we would have it at the next meeting for us to approve as well.
All right.
And with that, I'll answer any questions anybody has.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Auditor, Mrs. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to review really quickly that the transfer, as everyone can see, is just due to the funds for the chemicals for the pool being higher this year due to the heat. The chemicals evaporated. We had to use more chemicals. So that is not supplemental money. That's transferred from one account line to another to help finish out the pool year. And then the other one I want to touch base on is that supplemental ordinance. That was to repair the fountain out here that was caused by a traffic incident. We did submit that to the insurance carrier, and we did receive those funds back from the insurance carrier claim, with the deductible of $5,000 being the city's responsibility. But we did receive the other funds on August the 1st. So those funds have been received. Okay? And with that, I will take any questions. Okay, with that, I will pass then. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports, we have none scheduled. We just made an assignment for utilities. So we will move on to ordinances and resolutions. We have 6 on the agenda tonight. The first was a resolution to assess for noxious weed mowing.
A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the city of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by section 731.51 to 731.53 inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency. This resolution will assess noxious weed mowings and trash removals to multiple parcels. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Mormon?
Yes.
Ely? Yes. Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the city of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by section 731.51 to 731.53 inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency. A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the city of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by section 731.51 to 731.53 inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Mormon?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes.
either Mr. Greenman or Mr. Delk. These are the ones that have not paid, that have had notifications, so these are going on to tax bills.
That's correct.
So they get to pay it over the next 5 years, 10 years?
We will assess it all on the next installment.
On one payment. So if they don't, if it's not paid on that next payment, then it will become a penalty on future tax bills of like interest.
It's treated then as the assessment that it's their generic taxes, and the county then could use that as if they didn't pay it, as a grounds to foreclose on the property.
Okay. But these are only the ones going to taxes. This list is just people that are getting it added to their taxes.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And there was like 27, 28 or something.
Yeah, the
Property
total
bills.
is about $8,800
Yeah.
total across all of them.
Nobody on council's on this list, are they?
Just you, Mr. White.
Don't see anybody yet.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, number 2, a resolution to assess properties for Phase 2 of the sidewalk project.
An ordinance levying assessments in connection with the sidewalk project Phase 2 in the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. This resolution will assess the properties included in Phase 2 of the sidewalk project. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second and third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance levying assessments in connection with the sidewalk project Phase 2 in the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. An ordinance levying assessments in connection with the sidewalk project Phase 2 in the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt emergency clause. Discussion?
Mr. President, why does this have an emergency clause on it?
Because of the time to assess the taxes, we always try to wait as long as possible before we send the assessment. So if we get payments at the end, then we know. So to curtail the period between the legislation and the tax assessment. Same reason that the last one had an emergency clause.
Okay, thank you.
Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 3, we have a transfer ordinance for the swimming pool maintenance and operating funds.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville. This transfer ordinance allows for a transfer in the swimming pool maintenance and operating fund in the sum as follows. $1,500 from equipment maintenance pool to chemicals, laundry, supplies pool. These funds are needed to cover the cost of chemicals to the end of 2025.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville.
Motion. Motion to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Norris to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 4, supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriation in the general fund in the sum as follows. Grounds maintenance municipal building in the amount of $14,000. These funds are needed to repair the traffic circle fountain and will be partially reimbursed by insurance.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Motion to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Norris to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Number 5, a resolution authorizing Safety Service Director to solicit bids for biosolids management.
A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for biosolids management. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to solicit bids for biosolids management services.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and read this resolution by title only, second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for biosolids management. A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for biosolids management.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Mr. President, Mr.
Yes.
Zelk, is this like a term, expiration of an existing contract and we're going for a new one?
Current contract expires in October. So typically, we do a 2-year contract with a 1-year option, which is the contract that is expiring. We're on a 1-year option. This contract is a little bit different because we're just doing a 1-year with a 1-year option, because once we get our solids handling, dewatering up and running, this goes away and we'll do a different contract on cake disposal. So this contract is written, they're supposed to have us up and running, they're telling me July, August of 2026, where we're actually making cake at the new solids facility. So at that point, once we get it running, so we'll do another contract for the cake removal probably in the spring of 2026 to cover that one. And then the hope is that we can expire this next October. And at that expiration in that contract, it's that they'll remove all the solids from the current tank that's at the landfill. And then part of the contract is to remove that tank that's at the landfill.
Okay. It's been the same supplier repeatedly over the last few contracts, right?
Yes, Synagro who has gotten the bid the last, probably at least last 2 contracts. Before then, we had a couple different ones, and then we're hopeful that by going to cake, it'll expand our reach.
And this is an annual cost of approximately how much?
Annual cost of approximately $250,000 to $300,000. $250,000 to $300,000 annually.
Budgeted?
Yes. Like the current contract is, I think, around 8 cents a gallon. And so it just depends. So there's certain times like you have to take it straight. They haul it straight from our tank. They have to take it straight to the fields, and it has to be injected on the field. So the only times we can do that are in the fall, the spring, which is never works out, and then in July when the wheat comes off, there's fields that we can clean the tank out.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, number 6, resolution authorizing Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for maintenance paving.
Resolution authorizing advertising for bids for maintenance paving street for 2025. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for 2025 maintenance paving.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for maintenance paving streets for 2025. A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for maintenance paving streets for 2025.
Motion to accept the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Norris to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Willman?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of ordinances and resolutions. Moving on to old business, nothing, new business. We do have one item, and that's their annual meeting with CIC. It has been set for September the 2nd, 7 p.m., correct? So first meeting in September, 7 o'clock. Nothing else under new business. We'll move on to our council representative of outside committee,
Okay,
Community Action Partnership, Mrs. Ely.
that would be me.
All right.
Okay. I have lots of things that I could report on, but in the interest of the lateness of the hour, I'm reporting on Community Action Partnership. CAP is currently in the midst of their summer crisis program, and this program is designed to help those in the community who have no air conditioning. And just the criteria is citizens over 60 can apply to receive a window air conditioner and 1 fan. Citizens who are under the age of 60 must have a doctor's note stating that there is a medical need for air conditioning, and they can apply to receive an air conditioner and 1 fan as well. Anyone whose electricity has been disconnected can apply to receive up to $500 towards their bill or to get reconnected. And I think that's something that people need to be aware of. And their ongoing programs are percentage of income payment plan, home energy assistance program. Just a heads up, winter crisis program starts in November. And they offer a commodity box to people over 60. And there's a food bank. And you can contact CAP for any of these services. And I'd be remiss if I didn't add that the clothing bank, which is near and dear to my heart, is open to the community every Friday from 9 to 1, unless they give them a mental health day. So would you pass that to Ms. Jessica? Thank you, and with that, I'll pass with that.
Thank you. Do they have like a website or anything online they can?
Yeah, you can go, you just,
For their-
under that, you would go under MCAP, Miami Valley CAP, and you'll see that there's a designation down at the bottom that you can click on for Dark County.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Communications, nothing. Let's call down the council.
Norris?
Thanks for everybody who came tonight. Katie, thanks for your presentation. Got some of your staff with you, which we appreciate, and a department head hanging around out there. Chief, thanks for coming. We appreciate that. And with that, I will pass.
Rogers?
Yes, thanks everybody for coming and good presentation, Katie. Today I had a person that contacted me about the traffic on Russ Road between Wagner and 121. They live on the Bendon Way Street, and they were talking about that street as far as trying to get out of there. Also, when they were on KitchenAid Way, because of the traffic and so forth, especially when Whirlpool lets out or whatever, it gets quite congested and it's hard to get out. Has there ever been any thought about a traffic signal at that location?
Yes, it has been discussed, and I believe when Casey's was built, there was a traffic study conducted, and it didn't warrant a traffic signal at that time. There are times, obviously, when Whirlpool lets out, you're letting out 400 or 500 employees at a time, and 400 or 500 employees coming in, very close to the same time that people need to take extra time, but a traffic light there would be tough because it's proximity to the 121 traffic light. I mean, anything's possible, but financially, you're probably looking at every bit of $500,000 to $1 million, I would say. So I guess.
Unfortunately, we don't have a state thoroughfare through there that we can get a participation, right?
Right, and we would have to get ODOT involved. And actually, I have a meeting with them tomorrow on roadway safety, so it's something I can bring up and see what, if anything, is available. But that one would be a tough one to do. I think definitely if any other businesses came into that area, we would require a traffic study, and If you can get the right business, then you can get them to pitch in on paying for it, and that's always the goal.
I saw Katie back there shaking her head and it's like, yep, because that's where all the transit buses come out, right, Chuck? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
probably at that time, you just dread it, right? That 20 minutes before, 20 minutes after.
The other way.
Could I ask a question? Could we request a Whirlpool to be a good neighbor and ask them to redirect their employees to use the other way and go out and connect with 127 the other way?
And then we got Children's Home Bradford and 127.
Yep, but that's not, but that would be an easy merge.
It should be, but
It
there's a
should be.
number of accidents.
But I mean,
I've
that's,
been an employee there for 8.5 years.
you wouldn't think,
Trying to get it through their heads to actually do it, even if directed by management, would be another chore. You couldn't guarantee that would.
well, I mean, that's why I said, be a good neighbor.
Well, you're asking the corporation to be a good neighbor, but you're dealing with 800 to 1,000 employees who would have it in their mind to do their own thing like we see so often.
Good neighbor to block access.
No, what is it, no left turn?
Any other discussion?
That I pass.
Okay.
White,
I'll pass.
Willman,
Thanks again for people from Transit to come up, appreciate it. Good support, good presentation, thanks. Jana, I don't know if I was saying to you, but I checked on a lot of those bricks at both places, and the ones that are wearing out are, they were like etched, and they're not as deep, like ground out or anything, which I normally do now. So they wear out quicker. But there's, to refinish those, put names in those places, in those bricks, the ink or whatever you use would wash out down into the brick and you wouldn't be able to read them.
there's nothing they can do.
You'd have to take them out and grind them down into all the new names on them. Possibly maybe do it on the opposite side or on the bottom side. But, other than that, it'd be expensive. So I'll pass them.
Ely,
I'll pass.
Godwin,
Just like to thank the department heads for coming up and Katie for your presentation and for your employees showing up here to support you. So, and with that, I'll pass.
President Schmidt.
Katie, thank you for the presentation, and I thought you guys did a nice job. We do appreciate it. Well, with that, I will pass, and
Move to adjourn.
motion by Mr. Rogers to adjourn. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman. Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay.